Yes, ma, listen. So, guys, in the previous class, we have seen the concept of file downloading, meaning that whenever you are going to provide an option for images or any kind of PDF documents, those things cannot be downloaded directly. Instead, what you have to do is you have to forcefully provide the browser to download the images or the PDF documents. Okay, these things we can able to do with the help of a read file method, and there is a method called header method, which is responsible for to forcefully download the data in the local system of your system. Okay, and then we have seen the concept of JSON, so where we are able to perform converting of actual data into JSON format or converting of JSON data into a kind of an object. Now in today's class, we'll see an important concept, that is cookies. Okay, so cookies means it's a piece of data, piece of data which is stored in the system, stored in the browser. So I think while explaining the concept of JavaScript, I have shown the drawback of JavaScript also. What is the drawback of JavaScript? Whenever user disables the cookies in the browser, automatically the cookies concept won't be supported, right? So now also in this class, we'll see the concept of cookies in PHP. This also having the same drawback. To overcome this drawback, we'll move for the further concept, that is sessions, that we'll see in the next class. Okay. So basically cookies means it's a kind of a piece of data which is going to store on the browser, right? How we are going to check it? Go for the menu, go for settings, search for cookies. Here we have option called cookies and other site data. So here we have option called block all cookies. So once we made block all cookies, whatever the cookies that you have written either in JavaScript or in PHP, it won't be supported, meaning that those won't be supported in your browser. So it is saying that is not recommended for you. Okay, fine. So if you want to see all the cookies, then you can go for see all cookies on site data, select this one. Here you will have an option, various kind of cookies that I am trying to open the websites. For all those, they have written certain cookies, all those cookies are saved here. For example, I am trying to work for RGKT. If I search for RGKT, they are also using some kind of cookies, so that's why it is showing some 2 cookies here. Okay, so this is the way you can able to view the cookies. For example, if you go for in depth about that, you will have PHP session ID underscore GA. They have given certain names. So let me explain that how we will create the cookies. So what I will do is, in this class, I will explain for you how to set the cookie, how to get the cookies, and how to remove the cookies. Remove the cookies. Okay, fine, guys. First, if you would like to create a cookie, you have to use a method called set cookie method. Set cookie method. This method is accepting various kind of parameters. First parameter is cookie name, name of the cookie, and second parameter is value of the cookie. Third parameter is how much time your cookie need to be alive in the browser, and fourth parameter is for which path the cookie set need to be set, and fifth parameter is security. Okay, like this, it will accept various kind of parameters. Among those, the first 3 are compulsory parameters and the remaining are optional parameters. Optional parameters. Okay, this is the way we can able to set the cookie. For example, if you would like to get the cookies, then I will go for a global variable called $_ cookie global variable. So you have to pass the name of the cookie. Then you can able to get the cookie. Similarly, if you would like to remove the cookie, then you will use the method called set cookie method. Set cookie method, and you need to define the cookie name what you have set already, and you have to set the value of the cookie as nothing, and you have to make the time as some zero or some previous time, old time. I mean, for example, I am asking for you to set for the availability of the cookie for 1 hour. So if you would like to disable the cookie or remove the cookie, what you can do, from this time you can able to make some previous time, so that the time is already completed, so that remove the cookie will be removed. So this is the way you can able to remove the cookie. So for both setting of cookie or for both removing of cookie, we can use the method called set cookie method. Okay. Now in this class, we'll see this real-time example. Okay. So here I have created a page called website.php. This code I have copied from Bootstrap, and I have used the CDNs, and I have used a heading of the page as make digital login, and I have used a form here method as post, and I have used various kind of Bootstrap code. Among those, input field is name is username, and the input field password is u password, and the checkbox name is C, which is meant for the remember me purpose, and submit button, the name of the submit button is login. Okay, so for that you can observe the output. Your output will be like this. Okay, fine. Now what I would like to do is, whatever the data that is entering by the user, that should be reflected to the next page. So for example, whenever user clicks on submit button here, I would like to use action attribute, action equal to, let me call home.php. I'm trying to create the home.php, home.php. Now in this home.php, I need to access the data what is entered by the user in the previous page, right? So for example, how we are going to do it, ma? Dollar underscore, I have used their post, so that's why post global variable I need to use. Your variable name is username. What is another one? Dollar underscore post of user password, user password. So I am going to display both here, echo, and another one is echo. Another one is echo. Okay, guys. Now if I enter certain data here, Jaya, and password is something like 12345. If I click submit, it is not redirecting. I need to refresh it. I think it is not working. So method as post, action as home.php. In home.php, I had defined question mark php. Everything is fine, but it is not getting. Name is login. That's okay. And name is username, user password, and method as post, action as home.php. If I refresh it, now it's not working. Jaya, some password, click submit. Now it is working. Okay. So this is the way you can able to retrieve data. But the thing is, guys, if you are copying this link and trying to open in certain location, are you getting the error or not? Are you getting the error? So this is because actually from where you are trying to get the data, you are trying to get the data from the website.php. But if you are directly accessing home.php page, this data will not be available for you. So at the time, what you can do is, you can go for restricting the web page as by setting the names, something like, for example, I am trying to access _ post of, I am trying to set here as login. What is the meaning of it? So I am trying to set the status value of this login button. The status value of the login button. Whenever user will come for the perfect order, whenever user will come through certain order, then only I need to access this data. For example, let me check. Let me say that echo, this is secure data. This is secure data. Now, for example, this is also I made comment. I made comment. Now, if somebody is trying to access our page directly from, if somebody is trying to access this page from some location, for example, new incognito window, if I'm trying to access it, they are getting or not. But if another person can be able to access the data, our data, we should not allow that. So for that, what we can do is, whenever somebody is trying to access our data from some sub URLs or something like that, we need to make it cross check whether it is getting from the valid order or not. Valid order or not. So for that, what you can do is, so that order means whenever user submits the button, then only I need to open the page. Then only I need to open the page. For that, what I can do is, I can check for whether this contains some data or not by using a method called isSet method. So ESET method is meant for whether the corresponding variable having the data or not. So now this ESET method is going to return true if it contains the data. It is going to return the false if it not contains the data. So as I am having boolean values, I can go for checking like if of. What I will do, I'll simply go for this one, and I will simply try to access this data. Meaning that if I am going to get the request from this login button, then only I will allow for accessing the security data. If it is not from the request, from the submit button, then I will say that echo invalid access. Invalid access. I'll come here, go for localhost / rgukt website.php. It is opening. Jaya, password is Jaya. Submit. Yes, this is secure data. That's why I'm accessing. But if I'm trying to copy it and trying to open the new tab, am I accessing it through some order? No. That's why it is showing that invalid access, because the value which contains here as false. Okay. So instead of showing that it is a invalid access, what I will do is I will simply redirect it to the main page. What is the main page? Login dot website dot php. Website dot php. That's it. Now here it is showing that this is secure data. That's okay. If I access here, it will be related to this one. So I think in the previous class, while explaining there itself, I have explained the header method. So header method having various functionalities. Among those, one of the functionalities content disposition property. So I have explained there a lot of options are there. So one of the option is redirection property is also there. So now to make redirection, I will use header of location property, the website with the page you want to redirect. Header of location column website dot page. Okay. Now can I print the data? Yes. Yes, I can print the data. You can observe Jaya. This is secure data. Okay, fine. Now my requirement is if the user entered data is matched with the database data, then only I will able to allow for the login. For example, there is a username, uname equal to username as Jaya and dollar u password. U password as 12345. 12345. Now, whatever data that your user is entering, that is available in the variable called uname variable. I think these two are getting conflict. Name main user password, and I am trying to save the user entered password as u password. U password. Now what I can do? I can check for the condition. If dollar uname is double equal to dollar m uname and dollar u password double equal to dollar main user password. Yes. And so then what I can do? I can simply go for echo login success else echo invalid details. Invalid details. Okay. Now I'll come back. I'll try to enter Jaya submit. It is showing that invalid details, right? Instead of showing that it has invalid details, I would like to provide an option for redirection. Echo invalid details. Invalid details. Ahref equal to. I would like to make it as website dot php. I'll provide as try again. Closing of anchor tag. Now observe, if I refresh it, you will get invalid details. Try again. If I click here, that will be related to this. Okay, this is the way you can able to handle the login fail option. Okay, fine. Now once the user performs the valid username and valid password, you are able to allow for the login success. But here user should not to enter the username and password every time. So for that, what we can do, we can go for using the concept of cookies, where we can able to store the data in the browser, right? So in order to store the cookies, what you can do, you can use a method called set cookie method. What is the cookie name? Let us take the cookie name as username. What is the cookie value? Dollar uname value, which is entered by the user. And how much time I need to set this cookie? From present time, with the help of time function, we will get the current system time, plus I would like to set it for 1 hour. So 3600 seconds. So it will be set. Now I will say that echo login success. Login success. For example, Jaya 12345 submit login success. If I go for F12, go for application, guys, you can observe here in the cookies option of the localhost, name of the cookie is username, value of the cookie is Jaya, domain is localhost, path, like this. You'll have various kind of options. Okay, na? Fine. So similarly here also you can observe. If you go for see all cookies and site data, you can search for here localhost. What is the cookie name? Username. What is the cookie content? Jaya, domain, and also everything created by on Monday 11:34:21 a.m. and it is going to end by what time? 12:34:21 a.m. 21 p.m. because we have set it as 1 hour. Okay. So this is the way you can able to set the cookies. Okay. Fine. So if you want to set for the password, you can set the password also. Set cookie off. For password, I am giving as the name as user password. And what is the password? Dollar U password. U password. And how much time I need to set for example, for 1 hour. For 1 hour. So meaning that what will happen, Amma? Before 1 hour, if the user is successfully logged out, it will be logged out. If the user is not logged out, the browser itself automatically delete all those cookies. Okay. Now if I refresh here, observe, it is going to be added automatically. User password, the password is 12345. But this data is observed by everyone, right? This data observed by everyone. So instead of that, what you can do is, so basically the industry will follow these approaches. We can convert it into a kind of an encoding format, that is hashing. With the help of, there is a predefined algorithm is there, MD5 message digest file algorithm is there. So which is available in the form of function. So if you pass that function, it will be converted into an encrypted format. Okay. So if you want to understand that, let me show that. So MD5 is meant for to convert the given data into some encoded format, right? Now U password contains what? Encoded data. MU password contains what? Normal data. Even though you are going to get correct value, it is always showing that invalid. So I need to make this also conversion. MD5 off. Now it will work. If I refresh, observe guys, it will be converted, right? Nobody can be able to view this one. But if they want, they can able to do that with the help of various kind of logics are there. We can decode it, we can get the data. Okay. Now let us check once again. Jaya 12345. Click submit. Login success. Cookies are also set. This is the way you can able to use. Okay. Fine. Now for example, I would like to get the cookies. I would like to get the cookies. For example, let me go with a method called header method. I would like to go with location colon first dot php. I think first dot php is not there. I'll create this first dot php. I will try to access the data. Now guys, if I write something like this, echo secure data, can anybody able to access this one? Localhost rgkt first.php. Can anybody able to access this one? Yes, it is able to access because we didn't manage everything. Can we able to control it? Yes, we can able to control it with the help of is set methods. Is set method. So is set of what we need to check here. In the previous cases, we are getting certain requests from the previous page. That is why we are getting controlling here. But what about in this page? Are we getting any kind of request from the previous page? No. Then how can we do it? If the user is a valid login user, then I need to provide a secure data. How can we say that whether he is a valid login user? The data is already stored in the form of a cookie. So what you can do is, I can get the cookie, and if there is any cookie with the name, he is already a login user, I can show the security data for that. So how can we access it? With the help of a global variable called $_cookie. What is the cookie name? Your name. I'll simply show that echo. Similarly, what is the password? $_cookie of you password. You password. Observe Jaya and so on, so encrypted password, security. Everything is accessing. But thing is, I am directly accessing, but I should not allow this one. How can we avoid this one? Can we set? Can we check for whether this contains the data or not? Data or not, right? So what I can do is, I'll go for isSet method. IsSet of whether the cookie with the name having the data or not. The cookie with the name having the data or not. If cookie with the name having the data, then I can say that he is already a valid user and the data is already stored in the server. Data is already stored in the browser. Then I can go for allowing to access everything. So for this, I'll go for writing certain kind of condition if. I hope you understood. Otherwise, if the data is not available in the browser, then I can say that he is indirectly accessing our web pages. So we can say that echo invalid access. So instead of showing that invalid access, I can simply redirect it to main page, that is location colon website dot php. Website dot php. Now if I refresh it, you are going to get as, because the cookie is already there, because it is showing success. Observe. Let me come back everything. Uh, Slash website dot php. I am trying to give the valid username, valid password, and click submit. You are going to get the data. Now if I am trying to get this data, can he allowed or not? Can he allowed to access the secure data? Yes, he is allowed, because the cookie is already set for this username. But if he is logged out from the browser, then we have to make sure that it need to be related to website.page. But we didn't remove the cookies. But if we access the same link after 1 hour, definitely it will show that it will be related to website.page. But before going to that, we need to check it so that we can able to remove the cookies. So what we can do is, once the user views his secure data, I would provide an option called logout option. Logout option. For example, echo. We try to provide the break tag and then anchor tag a href equal to logout dot. I'm getting confusing with single quotation and double quotations. Logout dot php logout. Closing of anchor tag and this. Now guys, you can observe, if I refresh it, you will get the logout option. Now if I click on logout, you have to provide the logout page, control N, control S. Logout.php, and here you have to provide as, can we directly write like logout success? Can we directly write logout success? If I write directly logout success, for every click it is going to show that logout success, right? But you have to make sure that he is a valid user. If he is a valid user, then only you need to make it as logout success, right? So for that, what you can do, again we can able to copy the same code. Is set of, I can able to access the cookie whether first he is a valid user or not. If he is a valid user, then I can say that logout success, and then I will say that otherwise redirected to the main page. So header of location colon website dot php. Guys, here if you observe here, in every page you are writing the same code again and again, same code again and again. So what we can do is, instead of writing like this, you can go for the concept of file inclusion with help of include method, or you can go with the require method. You can able to copy the code from which is written in some location, okay, so that you can reduce the number of lines of code. Now now if I refresh it, it will show that it is logout success. But if I refresh it, what will happen? It will always there. So because we didn't remove the cookie, right? We need to remove the cookie by simply saying by simply with the method called set cookie method. What is the cookie you need to remove? Uname. What is the value you need to set? Nothing. How much time you need to set? 0. That can be any previous value. So don't get confused. That can be -1 also. Let me take it as 16 to avoid the confusion part. Similarly, I would like to remove the cookie of password also. You password. Is it okay now? Is it okay now? Okay. So I need to remove the cookie. So the cookie name is user password, and the cookie is nothing, and I am trying to make the time as something like the previous time of the exact time. So like this we can able to do. Now if I click on logout, it is showing that logout success. And if I am trying to access something like localhost first.php, what is the output will you get here? It will be rated to make this race because we already logged out. Once we logged out, it should be redirected to the main page. For example, if I am trying to log in Jaya, valid username is 12345, click submit, that's okay. If he didn't logged out, he is trying to access any page of the website, he need to get the data. But once he make logout and he is trying to access some page, it should be related to the page. This is the way you can able to. So this is happened because we removed the cookies. So okay, Nama. So this is the way you can able to add the cookies or create the cookies, as well as get the cookies, as well as delete the cookies. Okay. So we'll extend the same concept further. So for example, you can observe here, I'm trying to enter Jaya and I'm trying to enter the password 12345. Without selecting the remember me option, if the user submits the button, you should not you should not save the cookies, right? You have to take the permission of the user, right? If you are checking for any kind of website, there they will show that this website is using cookies. Are you accepting or not, right? The same thing you need to provide for your websites also, right? Whenever user selects the remember me option, then only you need to save the cookies. Otherwise, you should not save the cookies. Okay. So for that, what we can do? We have to use the set cookie methods for at what time? When the checkbox is selected. The checkbox is not selected, you should not execute this thing, right? How we are going to do that? Ah, tell me the code, don't say the procedure. If so, what is the what is the checkbox name? Dollar underscore post of C. Dollar underscore post of C. Okay. If I am trying to select something like echo $C, So for time being, I'm trying to make it comment. Now you can observe, guys, some error you will get. Jaya, and the password is valid password. If I click submit, what will happen? Observe. You will get some error. What is that? When the user is not selected. When the user is not selected, obviously the set variable is of a C is what? False. That's why it is not getting the data. So we need to check the condition. So whenever user is not selecting the option of remember me, you need to check the condition. Okay. So for that, what you can do, you can go for is set of. If he has selected, I am going to make it as the variable value. Dollar underscore post of C. Otherwise, what is the value I need to place? Nothing. I hope you understood. So why I am specifically checking for reset condition here? If user is not selected the checkbox, then it is providing an error. That error you need to handle, right? If he is not selecting, I am going to place nothing. I am going to place nothing, and this is for meant for the purpose of checking the data. So now, what is the output you will expect my here? Checkbox value. What you will get the output? On, right? User has not selected here, but if the user is selected, you will get again warnings. Line number 9, array to string conversion. Why I have defined 2 times? You got the on, meaning that when the user selected the checkbox, you will get the on as a value. So now what I can do here, I can check for if $C double equal to on, meaning that when the user selected the checkbox, then only I will go for the setting up of cookies. Then I will go for setting up of the cookies. And if the cookies are enabled or if the cookies are not enabled, I will be related to first.php. First.php. Okay. Now we'll get different aspect. Website.php. If I go for entering the valid username, valid password, if I click submit, what is the output? You'll get the same page. You'll get the redirect page, that is Jaya and so on first.php. Why? What happened here? You can observe here. So it is not showing that invalid because we have given the valid, and inside that it will be related to first.php. In first.php, what is the cookie name? Have we set any cookie names? No, we didn't set the cookie names, but it is showing that those username and password. So our code written has somewhere wrong. I'll make logout first. Let me check website.php. Let me enter the invalid username, invalid password. Submit invalid details, valid data, and valid password. And I am not selecting the remember me. Submit. It is showing that it will be related there itself. Observe clearly. Jaya, valid password is 12345. Why it is showing the password? Okay. If I submit, it will be related to the same page because in home.php we are going to check the condition called we did whether the checkbox is selected or not. If checkbox is not selected, that's why it is related to first.php. In first.php cookie, is there any cookie with the name uname? No, that's why it will be related to website.php. Okay, now fine. Now if somebody is trying to access some part of the website, he will get nothing. He will always be related to website.php because we didn't set the cookie. Now what I will do is, if the user is selected, Jaya 12345, click remember me, submit. Now it will work fine. Meaning that when the user accepts the agreement, then only I am going to save it. That's why it is showing as some secure data. And if I click log out, that will be logged out successfully. Okay. So, but the thing is, I am trying to once again log in. website.php, Jaya 12345, remember me, submit. For example, if the user opened again the first page, what you need to get here, in some websites you will observe something. Automatically here you will get certain data. You will get certain data. The data you are getting because of your local browser have already stored your information. Also information, right? If you want to provide certain value here, what is the attribute you need to use? Value attribute. Placeholder is something like it different thing. So you need to provide the actual value, then you have to go for the value attribute. For example, if I am going to write like value equal to csc3, what happened here, it is going to get as csc3, right? But here, do we need csc3 or do we need the data which is entered by the user? The data which is entered by the user, if the cookie is already set, how we are going to check whether the cookie is already set or not? By using is set condition. So what you can do is, I will write if condition, if. So I think this is a php code. We have to open the php code. So I think in the previous class itself I have explained. We can write the code either in HTML I can write PHP code, or in PHP code I can write HTML. So here I am trying to write in HTML, I am trying to write PHP code. So what I will do is question mark PHP. So if is set of, what is the thing you have to check? Cookie. If the cookie is already there, if the cookie is already there, then I need to display the data. Echo, what is the data you need to display? Dollar underscore cookie of uname, cookie of uname. Else do we need to check anything, or we need to left blank? We can left the blank, that's it. I'll just save it, refresh it. It is going to get as Jaya, because in the previous case we didn't logged out. So that's why we are getting here as Jaya. So I think here we are getting some space. Yes, that space is because here you need to make it compulsory use. Now it's okay. It's okay. Similarly, for password also you can access the same thing. So here the password is user password. The password is user password. If I refresh it, you will get the encoded, because we have performed their hashing. Okay. So if you want, you can decrypt it. For example, what I will do is I will modify it. So I don't want to decrypt it. So I will go for dollar user pswd equal to, I'm not doing anything more, just I am making updating. Instead of u password, I am trying to make it as u pswd. I think now everything is okay. Now I will come back from the starting onwards. It has 1 2 3 4 5. Click remember me, submit. I didn't log out. As I am not logged out, if I am going for accessing website.php, that data should be there. Jaya 1 2 3 4 5. Okay. So if I logged in, that will be successful logged in. This is the way you can able to check. I think I have to make here as password. I think this should be password. This should be password. Okay. This is the way you can able to work with. So if I am going for accessing once again website.php, you are going to be redirected.